Well, greetings. For those of you who have been wondering what's been going on with this Atwater Kent, this 1927 Atwater Kent Model 37, well, nothing has been happening until today. I finally decided to go ahead and open it up and see what's what. I've got myself some problems. A lot more than what I thought to begin with. This is the broken coil. I don't know if you recall that. That's the third RF coil. And it had a few wires already off of it, as you can see here, just hanging there. They were just laying there. The rest of it is right here. I'm going to have to repair it. So that third RF coil will be coming out of there shortly. And I might be able to rewind it. I've got to figure out some stuff there. I see the wires on the other side, but I don't see any connections on this side where those little copper wires would connect. Once I get it out of there, it's just a matter of taking loose this nut here and unsoldering a wire and removing another wire that's attached on with a nut, and that thing will come right out of my hand. But I have some other problems here, and they all of course stem from very poor soldering on someone's part. Look at here, we've got a wire that's just loose, supposed to be soldered right there, and it's not. This one here is supposed to be soldered. Look at that, not even soldered, it's just hanging there. Look, it looked like it was soldered, but someone does not know how to solder. That's terrible. So we're going to go ahead and fix that up. The other ones are kind of poor. I'll go ahead and fix those up too. But this is the, from what I can gather on the schematic, there's 3.3 microfarad capacitors in there that feed the filament and the plate circuitry. They're bypass caps for the RF section of this radio. And you know, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even open that thing up. I'm going to ask my old buddy Rick McWhorter, you know, should I dig in there and change those, or you know, what does he think? They're 3.3 microfarad capacitors to ground, a bypass, typical ground setup there. And then I can kind of clean up these soldering joints. The way this thing works is these are your filament contacts. These two, I mean this one. The tubes come down in, I don't know if you can make that out or not. Let me see. See where the tube pins stick through? The tube pin sticks through right here. It presses against these copper tabs. And you got 4 pins. Okay? So you got 4 holes. And what you've got is filament. These two here are the filaments. These two here are the filaments. These 2 pins and these 2 connections. And these 2 here would be the filaments. And then you've got grid, plate, grid, plate, grid, plate. Now by grid I mean control grid. So that's the way it is on the RF section. I haven't even got into the audio section yet, but we'll work on the RF section, try to get that dressed up. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and shut this baby off, see what I can do with this coil, and then I'll come back with you. And I might just get on the old horn here and give Rick McWhorter a call. You know, this is my first time, you know, I like working on my television. This is the first time I've ever looked into one of these old radios. And now you know, it just reaffirms why I never did want to look into them, because I don't like what I see. This is not my kind of radio, but it belongs to my son. I'm going to do my best to get it operational. I'll be back with you after I've had a better look at that coil. I just got off the phone with Rick McWhorter out in North Carolina, and he told me, yeah, I need to remove this flat box, pull out all this wax you see here. It's all hardened up. It looks like pretty hard. It looks like amber. That's what I told him. It looked like amber. Anyway, I'll go ahead and pull this box off. It comes off with this screw right here and this screw right here, this nut rather, on each side. Then I'll have to dig it out and put 3.3 microfarad capacitors in there, and then hook one here where this little wire is loose, hook one here where this little wire is loose, and hook one here where this little piggy is connected. Meanwhile, while I finally get around to changing those capacitors, this is still my priority. I've got to get this coil out of here. And this red wire coming out of the center of that coil, let me get a smaller screwdriver here. The red wire coming out of the center of that coil right there is connected to that nut. So I got to get that nut off. Then the yellow wire, which is this one right here, is soldered to this tab right there. So I'll unsolder it, take that nut off right there, and then loosen this up. The way that coil there is mounted in this bracket is it's squeezed together between this little lip and that little lip down here. It's squeezed together with this screw. And I might also have to unsolder this green wire right here off of that. So we'll see what happens. It'll be one, two, three wires, two wires unsoldered, one comes off with a nut. This gets loosened, and out she comes. Let's see if that all goes together well. The four wires, I thought there was three to begin with, but it turns out there's four, are all disconnected. This green one here, there's a black one down in there that was connected to ground. And then there's this white one, and the red one, of course, that connected to that stud. So we'll go ahead and see if we can't remove it. I've already loosened this screw and this nut on the end of this screw that, you know, that clamps it together and holds it in. So let's see if I can get the... Alright, so far so good. Let me see. There we go. We now have the coil out, and I'll go ahead and clean up all this crap and get it out of our way. We'll take a little better look at it. Before we go any further, I want everyone to know that the last video I uploaded where I cut open the filter cans, the electrolytic cans, after I uploaded it, it did not produce a thumbnail image. And I checked around the internet and found out a lot of people are having that same problem. One guy said it'll never produce the image. You can sit there till you're old and gray, which I already am. He said the only way to produce the image is to take it down and re-upload it, so that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm sorry, all of you who have commented on it, but I want that thumbnail image there. I'll have to take it down and re-upload, and best I can do on that. Alright, now back to the coil. I have these two loose ends right here. This end and this end. If I were to just finish coiling it around, solder the two together, this coil would be complete. One of these ends goes through the body of the plastic coil and then runs down along the inside and connects to one of these connectors on the other end. One of these silver connectors. That's all intact. The wire broke and came uncoiled, probably from someone messing with it, and as a result of it we lost these three coils. I'm going to contact Rick McWhorter before I do anything else, because I'm under the impression I could just coil it around what I have left, solder it up, and it would probably work just fine. However, it's the third RF transformer, and but I want to talk to Rick about these three. These three wires might make a big difference for all I know. I have never worked on this radio again, I'll repeat it, and I will do whatever he says to do. As far as I'm concerned, he's the ultimate authority on these old 1920s radios. So we'll end this video right here and pick it up after I've had another chance to speak with Rick. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you very much.